Welcome back to the Unleashing. I want to go over a number of different coinciding events. I've spoken on some of them already this year on things that are taking place or heralding in what looks like the return of the Lord and where we're at. But as the year unfolds, more and more keep coming on. I know you guys have heard some of the latest with the heifers and all that other stuff. But I just want to kind of go over everything again one more time and point to this like, it might be okay to get your hopes up this time, you know? And of course they are every year. You know, I've been speaking for quite a while, and every year it looks like it could be it. Every year it's like, could there be any more signs? And then a year goes by, and the next year brings even more signs, but when will it get to the point where it finally breaks loose and actually happens? And will it be this year? I truly do hope so, but time will tell very shortly. And right now it is looking pretty good, so let's go over a few things. This year is 7 years since the two cows were found that had the sevens on their forehead, signifying the time of Joseph in Egypt, the 7 years of plenty, 7 years of famine. All right, and that lined up with this spring, okay? What was right after that? All the planets lining up. I had mentioned this before, all right? Almost like a sign in the heavens, a heralding of a king, all right? Because they all answer to him anyways. That lined up in spring as well, all right? The next thing that lined up was, let's see, this being a start coming up on Rosh Hashanah, a new shmita cycle for 7 years, all right? Something that has been spoken of many times. It's throughout the Bible, all the times of judgment and things like that that went for 7 years would start on one of these cycles, all right? This is also the 70th Jubilee. For those that have read the Bible and notice the number of significance when it comes to 70, all right? Being Daniel's 70th week, 7 years as a nation, 7 years appointed to man, so on and so forth, multiple times. This is also, since the Jews started counting, entering into the Promised Land, their 70th Jubilee, which is lining up with this Feast of Rosh Hashanah, Feast of Atonement, okay? Very interesting as well, okay, and all the number of other things, okay? But as well, the Trump train that was part of the deal or whatever that Trump did when he stated that Jerusalem was the capital of Israel, and they want to call it the Trump train or whatever, which will be taking people from the airport and stuff to where the temple's going to be built, all right? This is going to be finished up in April of next year. Why that's significant is because the temple is completed and starts its 2300-day countdown from Daniel 8, 8 months after the tribulation starts, okay? That would mean that if the tribulation were to start at the end of this month, start of October, you'd be looking at the time of the temple getting its starting of being finished and completed for being its countdown throughout the tribulation of 2300 days. It would line up for around next May, okay? And for them having the train supposedly done, the tram, by April, that lines up really, really good with it. Okay, as well as 5 red heifers that have just been brought to Israel, all right, for sacrifice, for cleansing as part of Torah laws and stuff like that. I have heard before that they have to be a certain age, 2, 3 years old, 3 years old, 4 years old, something like that, right? And that it can't be, and that would push their sacrifice that would need to be done so that they could be sprinkled before the temple even starts to be built into next year or whatever else, right? Which is extremely depressing to even think about something like that. That would mean that we would still be looking at another year or so of time period, right? I have looked through the scripture now, and there is no mention whatsoever of the age that the calf has to be, all right? So if it's a female unblemished and they have it right now, as far as I can tell, it's good to go. So will they do that before this kicks off? Like I say, the deal probably gets made as part of an agreement when the tribulation starts, all right? This is going to be confirmed by the Antichrist. The deal's already going behind the scenes that they're going to get this, all right? This is going to fall into place after a World War III conflict event or nuclear exchange, which is going to bring all the people to the table that needs to happen, which they've said all around the world that that would do it, all right? It's going to be able to bring in a type of peace agreement for the world, which we know is going to herald the start of the tribulation, all right? So for them to be getting the heifers right now, all right, and without blemish and everything that they need, I mean, and the train going to be done by next spring at the same timeline, it really points to they're about to get the deal to make it and get the building on it started right now. So that's pretty significant, because if that's true, I mean, and if that train is already expected to be done and stuff like that, nothing's a guarantee, but it could be very closely related to what is possibly a guarantee. And if that's the case, then the tribulation definitely starts this year. And of course, if that happens, you know that the rapture is going to be happening too, right? So that is super, super encouraging. Another thing that's interesting is all concerts and major events that were planned for this year and fall leading up to winter and everything like that have all been canceled, all right, all over the place. For those that have insight or information and stuff like that on events that are going to be taking place, like it was nuclear exchange or anything else, all right? These people that are involved in that would know, and they would be canceling their events, okay? That's something that's taking place right now, all of them, all over the place. And when I heard that, I was like, that's a telltale sign right there that something big's about to happen. Of course, have been expecting for a while something absolutely huge to happen, all right? When you put all these together and you start looking at it, it really is, and I know, people, including myself, have got our hopes up in years prior, and then it's been let down. Like I say, last year I was literally told that it's most definitely this year, and then it was held back, and then I was led to believe this year that the reason why it landed on that certain day that my brother had, all right, Tammuz 3, is the same day that Joshua prayed and time stood still for a day, and it was a day for a year, a representation of that, all right? And that's why. And now that time's going again, then it will be fulfilled and take place this year. The rapture will happen, right? And of course, with all these events that I just mentioned, that's kind of what it's looking like right now. It's getting very close. I'm guessing that it's going to be like literally the last second, right before stuff goes totally haywire, bombs are coming down, that the rapture, the snatching away takes place. But right now, if all these things are lined up to take place the way that they are, almost in sort of a mathematical way, it would point to this is definitely about to happen. So that is very exciting, and we'll be looking at a week and a half away from some of this stuff going live, all right? So we'll see. It's very exciting, and just keep watching. But I'm seeing some videos being passed around. Some of them get thrown my way. Trump being the Antichrist. I don't know how many times I have to say this. Trump is not the Antichrist, okay? Even if Trump takes an Antichrist stance where he is now declaring himself to be, he's still not. It's shill work, all right? Designed to throw people off or whatever else. I don't know how people could get thrown off anyways. The second the Antichrist steps on this thing, you should be able to know. Nobody should be getting thrown off, but Christians get thrown off all the time, all right, by all kinds of crazy things, all right? Trump has kids, a wife, all right? He's been involved with different things to deceive people, of course, because he's been a shill for the Antichrist and the New World Order the whole time, like I've said. But is he the Antichrist? No, he's not. He has not fulfilled the prophecies that are prevalent for that, all right? Meanwhile, Barry Soetoro, on the other hand, does not have kids, all right? He is borrowing those. He is not married to a woman, all right? And he was brought up in all kinds of darkness and stuff, like I say, and I've went over this multiple times before YouTube took down the video on Barry Soetoro to protect him because he is the Antichrist, okay? I've mentioned this before plenty of times, right? So, anyways, the whole Trump thing, it's just more shill work, all right? Don't buy into it. You don't worship any of those people, anyways. Like I say, they're all the bad guys, anyways, just from a different stance. Good cop, bad cop. Really, it is so simple to look at. So, I don't know why it throws people off, anyways. Okay, Russia pulling out of Ukraine, all right? That's another significant thing, all right? Russia's been used in the whole Ukraine thing so that we could ship over tons of weapons and ammo that would be used to take out tanks and stuff like that in an invasion, all right? Not all the people are on board or know what the world leader are doing, right? And you still have to keep them deceived. That's why you play the parts like, what caused World War III? Well, they did this and they did that. No, that's all a ploy so that you still have it, because there's not that many of them, and definitely not more than us, all right? And if we were to actually catch on people, we could overthrow them in a second, all right? But people aren't going to catch on. They're not smart enough. And that's exactly why they play this out the way that it is, all right? But we've been sending all our weapons over to Ukraine, supposedly to help them out. None of them have been going to help them out. It's just going to certain locations where they're being blown up and totally destroyed, all right? Which is leaving us without any sort of weapons over here for an attack. And once we hit the number that have already been previously told to Russia, okay, if we get you guys down to 12-15% of your weapon supply, that'll be good enough right there. Then we can do the attack on you guys, all right? So now that they're pulling out of Ukraine and all our weapons and stuff have been destroyed and it's significantly been depleted for years from what generals and stuff are saying, it's the perfect time for them to attack. So them pulling out right now only seems to be signifying that to me. That's personally exactly what I think is happening. They're getting ready to do the attack on America. Of course, this is going to be the start of the tribulation. You have to take America out first. It is Babylon. They bring it to its knees, all right, subdue it, bring in all kinds of martial law. Tons and tons of people are going to die, all right, but America's reign, it becomes done, and they have to do that before they start the tribulation, all right, or right at the very beginning of it, all right. There's multiple events I think they're taking place at the same time, which will be coinciding with World War III, the very event. I think Gog and Magog is one of those events, all right, even though it speaks of it as a certain war in the Bible and you're looking at it, it does not mean that other things aren't taking place around the world at the same time, including the destruction of America, all right. So keep that in mind, all right. That's why I don't ever believe that it's like years off or anything like that. I've been thinking the whole time, ever since I was told to go out and warn everybody in 2014 that time is up, and that's what I've said the whole time. Prepare yourself, time is up, okay? These are just a few different things going on. Another thing that I hear once in a while is that, Rapture is going to be on Feast of Trumpets, Feast of Atonement, or Tabernacles, or whatever else. I want to point this out, that when the rapture happens, it will not be a fulfillment of any of those in their order or outside of order. When Feast of Trumpets, Feast of Atonement, and Feast of Tabernacles take place, it will be done in order just like it was done the first time. So somebody that might be watching right now on Feast of Trumpets goes by, or Feast of Atonement, and they're like, oh, the rapture will happen on Feast of Tabernacles, that'll be a fulfillment of it. It's not going to go outside of order. They go in order, and nor will it be a fulfillment of it. The rapture is its own event in its own secret way. Those last three feast days, they get fulfilled at the second coming when we come back at the end of the tribulation, okay? So just keep that in mind. It plays no part in the rapture. Even if the rapture happens on Feast of Trumpets, it is not the fulfillment of it. It might be some sort of foretelling, but the fulfillment takes place at the second coming at the end. They will go through the whole trumpet blowing, heralding in Jesus and everything else, and it'll be performed the exact way that it was the first time, in order, on the spot, in the same year, all right? So just keep that in mind. Something I want to mention that is very significant. In times past, whether it was 2013 or 14, whenever the Obama care thing came out and they wanted to RFID people and stuff like that, all right? And the computers went down and stuff. Whether they've tried to do this before and it failed, all right? Or held back by the restrainer, okay? I want to point this out. Even when they said, okay, we're going to change the date, push it up further, all right? Time could still go on, and, you're not going to be starving or anything like that, or whatever, right? But it could still continue if it didn't work out like they had planned. This year is different, okay? All right? They have executed this in a way that even if they did want to hold it off, or maybe from this, it didn't go as fast as they want, so they wanted to hold it off another year, okay? This year is different, all right? They have burned over 100 facilities that have to do with food manufacturing. All right, they've totally destroyed the economy into our third quarter, right? It's not going to be coming back. We're about to have the dollar completely collapse. Of course, we're not the backup currency anymore in America or anything else, right? There's a number of events, including heating and fuel and what they're pushing for and stuff like that, right? And what's happening in Europe and not being able to heat their homes this year and what's going on, right? I want to point out that even if they say, okay, let's push this on another year, right? Like in the past, this didn't work out. We didn't get the timing just right on it. Let's extend it, or whether they know it or not, the restrainer's holding it back. That doesn't seem to be the case this year, all right? No matter what, if God does not show up this year, all right, for the rapture and stuff like that, we're about to enter into hell on earth, okay? And millions of people are going to die this winter, all right? I just want you to know that. Our food supply is totally dwindling down, all right? The strikes and everything like that, not getting fuel and everything, they've pushed it to a point right now. You can't get the facilities up and running to get the food in time. You can't bring back all the slaughtered animals and stuff because nobody's coming in to buy it, or they've been paid to not have it, all right? You can't grow them fast enough. You can't have that. The season's already been ruined in the countries all over the world for harvesting, okay? While people are off in La La Land, all right? This is already done. Even if you said, I want to extend it further, all right, this year, like in years past, like I was just discussing, right? You can't do it. It's done. It's over. And all the criteria that you need to survive. Food's not going to be coming out of thin air, all right? The manna is not going to be coming from the air like it did back before, all right? It's done, all right? It's already done. And this year changes everything, all right? So I pray to God that God comes back, and I'm looking for the rapture every single day. You guys know how bad I want it as it is, right? But let's say he doesn't, right? Will this year be like times past? Well, we'll still make it through. It'll be grudging? No. Millions of people are going to die, and that can't be changed, all right? It's already been pushed. All the buttons were needed. They made the cuts in everywhere that even if you did try to survive it, all right, millions of people are going to die. Even if you wanted to bring the food back, even if somebody came in and fixed everything, you can't do it. You can't make the speed of a cow herd grow fast enough or whatever, or a season of food and crops that has never been planted grow fast enough or happen to bring the food that's needed for people. We're going to have no food rationing and everything else. People are going to be dying, starving to death, and freezing to death this winter, all right? It changes. This has never happened like this before, okay? So if this isn't the end, it's going to be so bad for so many people. But if this is also lining up to it, then it's exactly what you expect in the first parts of the tribulation. Like I say, within the first year and a half, when the four horsemen ride, 2 billion people die, okay? And that would be a part of how this lines up with it. So, I mean, that's right on schedule as well. But I just want to point that out. If this doesn't go live this year, and I pray God it does, and all the points that I just made point to it looking like that's exactly what's going to happen. It's about to go live for real. If it doesn't, though, there is no backing out of this one. There is no year extension. It's going to be hell, all right? And that's just the truth. But looking at this from a third-person perspective, that also is a really good indicator that this is about to happen, and it would still signify why people are giving in marriage and stuff right up to the peace and safety. Everything looks like it's hunky-dory, and then it just drops the bomb on them, all right? And we're still in that stage right now. It's still absolutely perfect. It's going to be fulfilling Scripture exactly like it's read, all right? So that's encouraging as well. Will this take place? Is this about to happen? It really, really looks like it. And, like I say, the whole boy who cried wolf thing, I've been doing this for a long time. I've said every single year, it can't line up any better than this. And I'm saying the same thing right now. It can't line up any better than this. It's absolutely perfect. You can't change the shmita cycle or a 70 jubilee or anything like that. And if it goes on another year, it won't be at the start of those cycles. It won't be absolutely perfect. We'll be pushing past that, all right? But this is absolutely perfect. It lines up absolutely perfect, which is what you would expect. Okay, so is it? It absolutely 100% looks like it is. If it doesn't, there's nothing I can say about that. That's all I'm telling you is it's going to be hell on earth, and millions of people are going to die this winter, okay? So be praying that it is, and that you're kind of worthy to escape the tribulation. That we all should pray, because this looks like it actually is going to happen, and hopes have been up before and been let down. Nothing will ever change my love for God. I love him more than anything. The only thing that changes is my desire to even talk to anybody in the first place, all right? I've done it long enough. It completely comes to naught most of the time, and it feels like such a waste of time, and I was even showing the future that after all the talking that I've done, I still see 8 people going up, and nothing changes that whatsoever. All the people are still going into the tribulation, so it really feels like a wasted time for me a lot of times. But, I woke up this morning thinking about if I'm going to do a video and I get a message from somebody, and it literally is the one comment that says, please don't stop making the video. So it's like, I feel like I get a sign sometimes from God. No, keep doing it, keep doing it. So here I am talking again, and if it gives you encouragement, I really hope that it helps, all right? I want to talk real for just a split second. I hear so many things all the time. Somebody wrote me not too long ago on one of the videos, and they said that their husband can't watch me or doesn't believe in me because he doesn't see anywhere in the Bible that anybody has looked in anybody's heart or whatever else, right? And to his defense, I don't blame him, If it sounds a little bit too wild or weird or out there, in the Bible, he loves God or whatever, and he wants to follow it, and I sound like I'm some sort of crazy, prophet or whatever else. I don't blame him at all. It's beyond the realm of, what most people even understand. And I've never talked from the general perspective of Christianity or the lowest level, which would be your pastor level, okay? Everything about what I am and who I've wanted to be and have intention of being and stuff like that is the most elite of beyond anything, all right? I told you Delta Force was my desire, and God showed me that is so puny compared to what he has, so the goal is to be the absolute best at that, all right? Which is beyond all comparison that anybody can even think or comprehend, okay? And when I hear these things, all the different times, stupid stuff, we didn't go to the moon, Trump's the Antichrist, blah, 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 and all this crap, Alex Jones is fake, all right? He's working with the deep state and all this other stuff, right? And you're stuck there for years, and you're going in these circles, you're not gaining any ground. I only need a half second, all right, to look into their heart, and then I can move on. It's why I'm a million miles ahead all the time, all right? And, I've told you guys the truth about everybody all the time. Even when I'm talking about Steve Quayle or Alex Jones or something like that, or maybe I'm hammering because Steve Quayle is saying some nonsense about gap theory and he's making a mistake that the tribulation is 3.5 years, or Alex Jones is pushing for supplies because he believes in a post-tribulation rapture, right? I don't want you to get me wrong in this guy or say something like that these guys are bad or wrong or anything like that. These guys are heroes, okay? Never forget that. They're absolute heroes, okay? They have fought the fight why the majority and mass Christians are sitting on their ass and they've never done anything in their life, right? So when I say something like that, I'm referencing that they have messed up in certain areas, okay? And like I said, my goal has to be the absolute best. And to do that, you have to look at the other racers, all right? Not you guys, other racers, heroes of the faith, all right? Heroes like Steve Quayle, Alex Jones, and stuff like that are actually out there that have busted their ass, sacrificed their entire lives to do what's right and put it on the line knowing that they may die. Not those people that are writing me in the comment section, they're too afraid to show a profile picture or use their real name because they're cowards and they have been their whole life, right? That's who I'm referencing. That's who I'm talking to. So when I'm looking at those guys, if I'm going to be the best, I have to look at where they made a mistake, right? Because this is a competition. It's a race, just like Paul says, right? And I only get to do it once. And I have to see what their mistake is and then not make that mistake myself, all right? It doesn't mean that I don't want the best for them, that they're not pushing, that they don't love God, because they do, all right? But, and I know they do because I just look in their heart and I can move right on, right? I see the pain, all right, that comes in Alex Jones, right, from the fight years, being called a fake or whatever else, while you're still pushing, running the race and doing whatever you can, all right? And then I've looked into Trump's heart and see that there's absolutely no pain at all, and that only comes from fakery, okay, because he has been the whole time. I look in Steve Quayle. I see the attacks for years and years and years, all right? So you get to the anger so much that it's like, I have been through hell, and these Christians that are walking and living in their mansions doing whatever they want, keep attacking me, and you get to the point where it's like, you know what, I want these guys to know what it's like to go through it. I want these guys to suffer, and it can literally change your ideology to the point where it's a halfway tribulation point, and now Christians are going to be going through the tribulation, and you almost want that because they need to know what the suffering is like, because it's unfair. All right, same with the Dr. Dino that I first heard from when I was a kid, who was a pre-tribulation rapturist, right? And he went to jail for 10 years, okay? And while he was in there, he changed his whole idea, Kent Hovind, right? From pre-tribulation rapture to a midpoint rapture, right? Why did he do that? Because while he was in jail, he was suffering for the faith and from what he's done, right? While other Christians out there, they don't have to do that. They're not suffering, okay? And he comes out, and now he's a mid-tribber, all right? And he's, upset because he's going through it. No, the heroes always have to go through it. They always carry more, all right? Nobody knows the weight of a king, all right? And what they carry on their shoulders, the decisions and things that they have to make, the secret conversations that they have with God, all right, that the public doesn't know. And I want to ask you something right now. Do you like being in the dark? Because I can't stand it. I want to be in the inner circle of generals when we're having conversations. If God says, bring in the top generals, we're having a private conversation. I couldn't stand the thought of being left out of that, all right? I never want that. And that's why you only get this one time to push, and why I push you so hard and tell you all the time, stop following people, stop following me, have that walk with God. Does anybody listen? Of course not. Of course not. It's always the next question. What's this and what's that? And I keep asking myself, who did I go to get these answers? I went straight to God. Why haven't you done that yet? Why can't you figure that out? I have no idea, all right? I have no idea. It's frustrating. If time continues on, all right, I want you to keep this in mind. If time does continue on, internet gets shut down or anything like that, you're going to be on your own with just you and God, all right? And that's going to be your chance to push, all right? If it's up right now, you've lost that opportunity. But if time does continue on, thank God for the opportunity and walk with Him, all right? That's what I've said the whole time. It can be done. You can talk to Him. That's what Jesus came for. He is our connection, right, to God. You can go straight to the Father, all right? And don't waste that opportunity. But I saw something this morning, and I was thinking about it. Why can I do what I do? And why have I never found any other Christians in the world that do it, all right? And then I saw something this morning when I was reading the Bible. It was Paul. After he gets struck blind, and he gets taken in, and the scales fall off his eyes, and he starts to preach. And I caught something right there. All the other Christians at the time did not believe Paul. They thought that he was faking it, or doing something sneaky so that more of them could get caught or whatever else. Why? Because they could not look inside Paul's heart. But Barnabas, on the other hand, did believe, and then he went to the other apostles and he told them, hey, Paul can be trusted. He's a hero of the faith right now and everything like that. But even back then, discernment was still not there for every Christian, all right? Why are some better than others? Is there already a preconceived idea in your mind before you start, or before you did start? Possibly, possibly. Why can some do things that others can't, I don't know. But it's not free, I'll tell you that much right now. The more you have, the more responsibility is, the more the weight that you carry. It's just the way that it is. And the whole Barnabas thing, it really pointed it out that even back then there still was lacking in spiritual discernment, the ability to look into somebody's heart or anything like that. Something that if I told you I didn't have or couldn't do, I'd be straight up lying to you, because I have since I was 17. And the journey to get to that point was very, very excruciating. And that's why when I hear other people say it and stuff like that, I know it's just bullcrap right from the start. And it's a little personal information, a little backstory there, but just some things that I'm thinking about. Did we go to the moon? I'll never forget when I looked inside Buzz Aldrin's heart. He was giving a speech and saying some stuff or whatever. But inside, while his voice was going, he was screaming at the top of his lungs. Because it's not always so easy for people. Some people don't have a problem keeping secrets, and others don't believe in it, even if they're part of secret societies and they want the truth to come out. And he was screaming at the top of his lungs the stuff that he wanted to share, not only what they saw on the moon when they were up there, the public knowing the truth, right? And he was given specific orders to start backplaying and telling people, hinting at they didn't go to the moon, all right? But inside, it's a totally different story. So why people are circling around wondering if we ever did and all this other jazz, right? I'm already a million miles ahead because in a split second I can see that it's total crap. We actually did. There's tons of secrets. He's keeping it hidden, and he's being forced to do that, all right? It really is. It's just that fast, okay? And I've shared it with everybody already. I've told you a 1,000 times, okay? So, you can believe or not believe all the live long day, but there's going to come a time, if you make it, you're going to find out who I am, and you're going to see that I was telling you the truth the whole time. It really is that fast. But imagine if there wasn't just one here or there, right? And this gets into the whole point. What if there wasn't just one here or there, right? What if there wasn't just me and then thousands, if not millions of people that are all just your ordinary folk, right? What if there were other living legends out there, all right, that had that walk with God and real kick-ass gifts, which only brings back to the point that I've said before: a master of a bow, a master of a sword, a master of a sledge, all right? It does not matter. You're a master in your own art with the gifts that God has given you, all right? Let me ask you a question. Which one of the apostles did the other apostles follow? Was John and Andrew following Peter? Was Peter and Andrew and some of the others following John? No. They're all masters. They're all directly were under Jesus Christ, God, all right? As friends, buddies, all right? They'd go off and they'd hit their different areas and do what they were supposed to do, right? While they're raising underneath them other Christians who come up to hopefully take those places as well. And so many people just want to fall under that beta status. Tell me what to do. Where do I go? No, please go to God for me, instead of the elite, absolute pinnacle, the highest you can be point where it's just you and God. You're a leader of your own. Never once have I asked anybody to be under me. I want you, because I don't want to control anybody. I never have. I do not have a desire to control people. I want to teach you to be free, because I love freedom so much I want others to have it as well, and most people just pass it up, all right? But I want you to think about that for a second. Which one of the apostles followed the others? None of them did. They're all their own leaders. They're all their own masters. They're all their own fields, all right? They're all their own masters of weaponry. One was a master of a bow. One was a master of a sword. So on and so forth. Do you understand? I'm not talking about actual weapons. I'm using this as a reference point, that their skill points, what they were given, their special abilities that they have directly with God, is being used in those different places. And you could have too the entire time. If time does continue on, I always encourage everybody to go and push towards that direction. But if you're not, you've wasted an incredible opportunity that it not only is have you wasted, but is written down and used and marked towards your Bema Seat rewards and other standing points, which will stand forever through all time, that you can never get that back during this training period. It's done once it's done. Do you understand why I say that is more scary than anything else? To know that you were able to do something more, but you didn't. You were afraid, or you didn't walk that. Stop asking questions to men and go into the next place, and go straight to God and let that build. It does take time, right? But I am not telling you this now. I've been telling you the entire time. This is just another reminder to keep doing it. Walk that walk. If things shut down, I'm not screwed. I just go straight to God like I always do. And you could have too the entire time. Always keep that in mind. It's a personal relationship that you walk with. And I've showed you the points. I've showed you the reward from doing it. You are heavily rewarded. Will you go through trials unlike anybody else? Yes, you will. But you also will be legend forever, all right? Because it's written down. You'll be shown for who you are, okay? And it's not easy. It's an incredible weight to have gifts, all right? You're carrying the responsibility of that, the one pillar that crushes you, as well as the other one, the pride that tries to buy you off. And then you start with any little thing, even a smidgen, the smallest fraction, the hair of information. People will instantly, you'll hear them all the time. Oh, I'm a prophetess. I'm one of the 2 witnesses. I'm one of the 44,000. I'm the 2 witnesses in one. I'm Jesus Christ, people will say. I don't even like to say that. I hate it so bad that people will even do that, and I've ran into tons of them. The two witnesses in one, that's a good one right there. Or a girlfriend and her boyfriend, they're the two witnesses. I mean, I've heard every single thing there is, and they're bought off by power, and of course instantly vaporized. They've lost their whole walk or whatever else, and like I say, it's not very easy, and it's why I say so many times, if you have a price, you will not be granted it. If God sees that you're going to become one of the 144,000, supposedly, or one of the two witnesses, or, claim like this one kid, he had a tattoo on his thigh, so he said that he was Jesus, his mom was Mary, and Kanye West was the God of the Bible. I'm like, oh, that's an original one right there. Wow. I mean, I've heard all of it, and these people are bought off. It is an incredible, incredible weight. I am not joking. I did not just get things given to me. I went through a trial period, and I went through living hell before God granted it. But throughout all of it, I have never stopped him being my first love, who I go to, who I care most about under any circumstance. And he knows that. He's put me through the test. And every single time I will pop back up, even when I make a mistake, ask for forgiveness, but continue on in that race, all right? And that is why certain people are rewarded the way that they are, and other people aren't, and why you don't have gifts, and why you don't know, and why you keep getting fooled by stupid little things like Trump being the Antichrist, did we go to the moon, is the earth flat, so on and so forth, over and over again, and why it only takes a half second for me to look in somebody, all right? You've had hundreds of videos, hundreds, all right? As you listen to me talk about the secrets of the universe and everything else, right? Every single time. And there are still those who have followed me almost the whole way that don't have a clue who I am. And yet, I need about 3 to 4 seconds. And I'll tell you about you, as much about you as your mother can tell you, all right? It's ridiculous. There is no discernment anywhere, all right? And even though I get frustrated in this time, I'm reminded, even by reading the Bible, even back in the beginning Christians, they didn't have that greater discernment either. I don't know why that some people are the way that it is, but it's all part of God's plan, I guess, and I find it interesting, and it'll allow me to go off on a little bit of a tangent here and just say some things that were on my mind this morning. Maybe the reason why is because this might be the last video that I do, and I'm not saying that is because I'm going to stop. It's because if this really is time up, then I won't have to be making any more videos at all. And if it isn't, then I will continue to, I guess. We'll see what happens. But right now, like I say, I mean, I do it every year. It doesn't look better than this, and let's say the same thing this time. It doesn't look better than this. Will it be the time? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure, nothing's ever going to be the same after this starts up here real soon, because they can't extend any longer even if they wanted to. We don't have food supply or anything like that. People are going to die. It's really bad. So I'd be praying like never before. If you've drifted away or gotten to nonsense, I'd repent, all right? You can come back at any time. Give your life to God, all right? Choose to follow Him. Don't follow men. Get out of your churches at all costs. They're an abomination as far as I'm concerned. It's completely watered down nonsense. I don't want to hear excuses in the comment section. If you decide to stay, that's your business. I'm telling you, all right? If there's even a hint of nonsense in there, get out. If they're 501c3, get out. All right? Have nothing to do with it. Have that personal relationship walk with God. The underground church is the only way it's even going to thrive. And it's going to take the tribulation to get people's attention. Because in tribulation is where the church thrives the best, all right? God bless. I'll catch you next time in the Legion, or hopefully I'll see you in the air. Bye.